Hello, everybody. Welcome to the G Sports Podcast. My name is Brendan Gorman. Today, we're talking Packers versus the Bears. Classic NFL rivalry. Let's go. So, one aspect of this game that I was looking forward to seeing a part of this Packers-Bears rivalry is how well Mitchell Trubisky would play since Nick Foles was out. And obviously, I had no expectations for Mitch Trubisky coming into this game because Mitch Trubisky is not good at all. But against the Packers defense, I was excited to see if the Packers could take advantage of Trubisky and make him look like the trash that he is. I'm sorry, Mitchell Trubisky, but that's the truth. I'm sorry, Bears fans. That's the truth. Trubisky is garbage. But I was excited to see how the defense was going to play against the Bears' faulty offense. Now, I thought the defense played pretty well. They played pretty freaking well. They covered Allen Robinson pretty well. He had 13 targets. He caught 8 balls for 74 yards. But obviously, we got to talk about the Packers' offense because this game was all Packers' offense, to be completely honest. I mean, you go down, you score on the first possession, right? A solid 14-play drive. After that, let the Bears go. They drive down, they kick a field goal, but guess what? Come back down, touchdown. Then we pick off Trubisky, touchdown. Then the Preston Smith strip sack, fumble return, touchdown. That was nice. That was some good defense. Then we let the Bears score a touchdown before half, but at that point, it's 10-27. The game is basically over. Just to be sure, go down, score 2 straight touchdowns to make it 10-41, and basically end the Bears' day with a couple garbage time touchdowns, garbage time scores like the 49ers in our last podcast. In regards to the offense, I found it actually really interesting because I thought Aaron Rodgers had a lot more yards than he actually had. He had those big explosive plays. He had the big touchdown to Robert Tonyan and a 24-yard pass to Equanimeous St. Brown. And it kind of just felt like Rodgers was getting more yards, but he actually only had 211 yards. 211 yards on only 29 attempts. But he was 21 of 29. Really good efficiency. 211 yards and 4 touchdowns with a passer rating of 132.3. Absolutely phenomenal. But on top of that, I'd say this game was not actually about Aaron Rodgers, as great as his stat line was with his efficiency, because our running backs, they showed out. You got Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams combining for 34 carries, Aaron Jones getting 90 yards and 5.3 yards per carry, and Jamal Williams getting 17 carries for 73 yards, but he gets the 1 touchdown between the both of them. That 1-2 punch that Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones bring to the Packers is just so important in my eyes. And I kind of highlighted it last time by talking about how what makes them a good 1-2 punch is how similar they are in play style. You can replace one with the other and continue doing the same exact thing. And the Bears were just not able to stop it all game. They weren't able to stop the Packers' run game. But with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams' huge success comes kind of the looming question and kind of the overall theme of the Packers aside from their success. And it's this side story of what the heck the Packers were doing in the draft, because their second-round draft pick, A.J. Dillon, another running back, has not played much, and what he has not played anything spectacular. He's not done anything spectacular on the field. And that combines with the fact of drafting Jordan Love, not drafting any receivers. It comes with the question of what the heck were the Packers doing in the offseason? Because imagine if they didn't draft A.J. Dillon and instead drafted a interior D lineman, a linebacker, or obviously a wide receiver, because that was the main craze and that was the main, that's what the Packers need to draft this offseason. But now we draft A.J. Dillon with our second round pick, and he really hasn't equated to anything this year. He is unnecessary this year, and it's so frustrating because there are things that the Packers need. Packers would love to have another top-tier wide receiver. The Packers would love another strong interior D lineman or linebacker. But nope, we just have this running back sitting on our roster and not really contributing much to this team and to the success, because this is a Super Bowl caliber team. This team can go far. This team can win. But it's almost like the team is also sacrificing winning for the future when all that matters in the league is winning. And I'm not trying to bash A.J. Dillon or anything, but I'm just trying to be realistic with the Packers and their team. Eventually, are they going to move on from either Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, and A.J. Dillon will take that number 2 role? Most likely, yes, but that'll be in the future. And like I just said, it's about winning the Super Bowl. It's about winning now. The future doesn't matter if you can win now. One thing that is helping the Packers win now is Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan is quietly developing into a pretty solid and reliable tight end for Aaron Rodgers. He averages around four targets, 4 receptions a game, and 45 yards. But the thing is, he's got 7 touchdowns. He's already got 7 touchdowns on the year. That is great. That is phenomenal. Just keep in perspective, Davante Adams is arguably the best red zone threat in the league, especially paired with Aaron Rodgers. Their chemistry definitely mirrors some of that former Rodgers to Jordy Nelson. But anyways, Davante Adams has 11 touchdowns on the season. Tonyan has 7. So yeah, I guess you can argue, oh, he's tied for 10th. But one more and he has 8, and then he's tied for 6th. Just keep that into perspective. He's becoming a great red zone option and an excellent tight end that fits with the Packers and that system. I personally have never been a guy that believes that Aaron Rodgers needs a tight end. I think Aaron Rodgers does not really rely on tight ends. He's always been a guy that throws to receivers. I mean, the one tight end that he truly threw to a lot was Jermichael Finley. And since Jermichael Finley retired, he's never really had that true go-to tight end. I remember the reaction to when we signed Jimmy Graham in the offseason, and a lot of people were super happy. They were excited. They thought that Jimmy Graham would be a big red zone target, would get a lot of touchdowns, would mesh really well with Rodgers. And that's the exact opposite of what happened. And personally, that's because I believe Aaron Rodgers does not use the tight ends. He likes throwing to wide receivers who are quick, shifty, and are able to get in and out of routes and have good chemistry, that are able to create separation and can go get a ball. So Tonyan doesn't have to be some crazy good Travis Kelce tight end. I'm not saying that. But just being a super reliable, can catch a ball, can go in the red zone and be a threat, that type of player, that is super valuable, and it is a great underlying storyline of the Packers this year. With all of that said, though, it is time. We're about to bring in my guy, JJ Lippy. So let's all welcome JJ Lippy to the G Sports Podcast. And now coming onto the podcast, JJ Lippy. How's it going, JJ?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing pretty good. All right, so what were your initial thoughts on the offense's performance against the Bears?
I thought we did a great job of coming out and playing our ball of football, and just like how the Packers have done it all year, they do a really good job of spreading the ball to everybody on the team, and it doesn't really seem like we really have we have Davante Adams, but it doesn't really seem like in our game plans we just target one guy and one guy only. It's really spread out through our tight ends, running backs, wide receivers. And there was a lot of, good breakout performances by guys this week. And I really thought Jamal Williams had a good game, and Robert Tonyan, as well as Equanimeous St. Brown. We were able to see a little bit of what he can be if he could stay healthy. So that was a good performance, though.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The offense played really well. I think my favorite part about our offense is just how we always come out right out of the gate and score a touchdown. Our first half offense is super good. The only time it's truly sputtered is against Tampa Bay, when we scored 10 points right off the bat and then completely lost our offensive flow. So I was really happy. Offense looks super good. Best offense in the league statistically right now based on points per game. You mentioned part of our supporting cast. Another member, Robert Tonyan, has quietly become a key piece in our offense. How important do you think Robert Tonyan is for Aaron Rodgers?
I think he's just one of those guys that he's starting to build more trust in, and I think he's honestly got a lot of trust in him right now. And it's really great and exciting to see as a Packer fan because Mercedes Lewis is 36 years old, and he's probably got a few more years left, if that.
To be fair,
And,
Mercedes Lewis is the blocking tight end.
Yeah, but we have used him in the past in this year for
in the red zone.
Yeah, and I just think Tunyan's going to be one of the tight ends that are going to be he's going to break out. I really think that he's got a chance to be like a George Kittle, or some other tight end, like a Rob Gronkowski maybe, but not to his degree of dominance. But I think he's going to be a really solid tight end. I'm really excited for him.
I've come to love Robert Tonyan, especially because I find it funny because originally it was Jace Sternberger who we wanted to have the breakout year this year, and then instead of Jace Sternberger, it ended up being Robert Tonyan, and it just adds that extra dimension to the offense, which is always helpful.
Well, we still got that one tight end too, but I think he's hurt right now. The guy from Cincy. I forgot his name.
I don't remember his name either. I know our main tight ends: Sternberger, Mercedes Lewis, and Tonyan. So.
Yeah, he got hurt in the beginning of the year, I think. But he definitely is a good guy. He's definitely a good tight end too. Oh, DeGuara. He's a rookie, so I think he can be really good too. But yeah.
So to stay on offense, let's talk about Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams because both of them combined for 34 carries, 163 yards, and I'm pretty sure Jamal Williams had the one touchdown. What do you think of the Packers running the ball and taking the game out of Aaron Rodgers' hands?
I really like it. I mean, this is kind of our first time having a reliant, backfield, and I think the Packers really tried to emphasize that. And I think it's nice to get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands so it doesn't make him feel like he has to do everything. It kind of just shows in Rodgers' attitude all year that he's just playing free and he's just playing happy now. He doesn't have to make the plays. The other guys are making the plays. So yeah, I think they're. Honestly, I think they're a top 5 1-2 punch in the NFL right now.
Definitely, I 100% agree. And it's kind of funny because, Aaron Rodgers is in the MVP discussion with Mahomes, Wilson, and Rodgers, right? But at the same time, the Packers are taking the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and it's not allowing him, or it's not necessarily putting him in a position to stress about always being the person that has to do everything for the offense, right? Yeah. He can relax and give it to other players. And granted, it definitely helps when you get the lead super early, so all you have to do is run. But then it's also still impressive because the Bears know you're just going to run the ball, and they couldn't stop Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, we have to give credit to the O-line too. Maybe an offensive lineman, they never get enough credit. But I think our O-line, with losing Laga, and signing Rick Wagner, Rick really hasn't been playing, but we moved Billy Turner to right tackle. I think that group has been so solid this year, and they've only given up 12 sacks all year. That's the second best in the NFL right now. I think they are killing it right now, and I think that's what we really need for our offense, and I think it's been really helping our running backs break out again, too.
Our O-line, David Bakhtiari, arguably the best left tackle or just best tackle in the league. Such a good pass protector. Obviously not the greatest run blocker, but his pass pro is so important to Aaron Rodgers. And another unsung hero of the offensive line, Elton Jenkins. I think that's the player that has played 5 positions this year, which is just unheard of. And he's played them at an elite level, all 5 positions.
Yep.
So to be that Swiss Army knife, go from left tackle to right tackle, all 5 positions, he's so valuable to that offensive line.
Yep, and he even went in for Corey Linsley when Linsley went down this last game. He's just been ridiculous, and it's his only second year in the NFL right now. That's just insane to me.
Yeah, as a second-year player, doing what he's doing, it's really impressive. But to now go on to the defensive side of the ball. So Preston Smith had a takeaway this week. He had the scoop and score. Defense got 2 picks. The last time we were talking, the Packers defense was struggling to make turnovers. And since then, the Packers have gotten on this trend of starting to turn the ball over or get takeaways from the other team. Do you think this upward trend can continue for the future?
I think it definitely builds their confidence because, just getting turnovers and takeaways, that just gives any defense confidence. But you are playing against one of the statistically worst offenses in the league, so it's kind of more expected that we did that. I'm hoping that we can keep the trend going, but yet again, we did play one of the statistically worst offenses in the league.
You're right. This wasn't the greatest Bears team, and picking off Trubisky is something that every team can do, so.
Yeah.
So with all of this said, what are your now current thoughts on the Packers' Super Bowl odds?
The Packers really need to do is their offense needs to keep playing at a high level. It's funny, a lot of Packer fans joke around about us not having, the weapons and necessarily, like how Tampa has all their great wide receivers, how, you just look around the league and a lot of teams are stacked. I think the Packers is one of the most balanced offenses in the league. And I honestly think that they really need to keep their high level, if not even step it up even more, because you can always get better. And, I think our supporting cast with the offense will take this team as far as they want to. And I also think that the defense has been stepping up lately. So if the defense can still keep stepping in the right direction, I really think that we could go pretty far and go to the Super Bowl. But looking at the AFC side, seeing Kansas City, sometimes, I personally do not think that we can beat Kansas City specifically because our defense, I do not think, can stop Kansas City at all. Even though we have a great secondary, I feel like they would just run all over us. But yet again, if someone can knock off, KC in the playoffs, then I think we have a really good shot of winning the Super Bowl.
See, my thoughts on the Packers in the Super Bowl. Currently, they're the 2nd seed, and Tampa Bay is the 6th seed. And I believe that Tampa Bay is easily the worst matchup for the Packers, and that was already shown this year by how Tampa destroyed the Packers. So if the Packers can avoid Tampa, I think they can, I'm pretty confident if they avoid Tampa that they can make the Super Bowl. Because can they beat the Saints? Yes, they've already done it. Can they beat the Seahawks? They will exploit that Seahawks secondary, even though the secondary's been playing a lot better. Aaron Rodgers will exploit that secondary. I think the Packers will beat them. The Giants, garbage. The Rams, now that's a good team, but I also feel like they're not as good as their record shows. And the Cardinals, I feel like the Cardinals would actually give the Packers the best game out of all of these teams because of if Kyler Murray can, if that Cardinals offense can get going and that defense can make plays, then I think they could actually give the Packers a run for the money. But I truly think that if the Packers can avoid the Buccaneers, the Packers will make the Super Bowl. But now let's talk about the Super Bowl because you were mentioning the Chiefs. I think the Packers match up really well with the Chiefs, or at least in terms of a good chance to win. Now, do I think the Chiefs would beat the Packers? Absolutely. But I think the Packers have a much better shot at beating the Chiefs rather than the Steelers because the Steelers remind me a lot of the 49ers last year with that insane defensive line or that just insane front seven who will just smack the Packers right in the mouth offensively. And when we get smacked in the mouth offensively, we just shut down. So I would much rather play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl opposed to the Steelers. What's your thought on that?
The Steelers just lost, forgive me if I get this wrong, but Dubfree, I think his name is?
Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree.
Yeah. I mean, they just lost him. That's a very big part of their defense there. But, I kind of have to disagree with what you're saying. I think we are more improved up front this year at the offensive line, even though we lost Bulaga. I think we're doing a lot better with this offense, so I think our O-line can definitely handle the front seven compared to last year.
Well, we saw that game against Tampa, and they got a really good front seven, too.
Well, I also believe that we should have beat Tampa, but we did fold, yes, I will admit that. But, a lot of times, when you're on offense, you really learn from those kind of games and you can really bounce back. And I don't see the Steelers' front seven being as good as that San Francisco's front seven was last year.
Really?
I think the San Francisco's D-line was 10 times better with Armstead, Bosa, who else am I?
Buckner.
Buckner, yep. I think those guys are phenomenal. And I honestly think that they're better than the Steelers' front seven. But, it's going to be a good game no matter the way you look at it. It's two of the best teams in both their respective conferences. So it's just be nice if we could play Tennessee. But then yet again, Derrick Henry would run all over us.
Honestly, Tennessee would also be a really bad matchup for us because, Derrick Henry would put up 250 yards.
Yeah, but I think just when it comes down to this, I just think like the Packers defense just has to step up, and the Packers offense just has to keep playing exceptionally well. The Packers offense cannot miss a beat. If their offense misses a beat, they will lose the game. That's just literally how this is going to go.
I agree. Packers defense is not going to win them games. It's the offense. It's can the defense hold the other team so the offense can just score more points than them. So, yeah. Well, thanks for joining on the call today, JJ.
No problem.
With all that said, that will be today's G Sports Podcast. Thanks for listening today. If you like what you hear, drop a comment below, tell us what you think, give us your opinions, and we'll see you next time.